All right, let's dive into this. We're talking about jhanas today.
Okay.
You know, it's fascinating stuff. They're kind of like levels in a mental training game.
Yeah.
But instead of battling monsters or whatever, you're actually training your awareness through these Buddhist meditation practices.
Right.
Your sources focus on, let's see, the first 4 jhanas and the first 4 formless attainments.
Right.
And these are basically progressively deeper states of meditative absorption. Pretty wild stuff.
It is. It is.
So we're going to explore all the incredible mental states you can achieve through these practices.
We are.
Just imagine like a sense of pure oneness, unshakable equanimity, even a perception of infinite space and consciousness, like upgrading your mental operating system to the next level.
Totally.
So how about we start with the jhanas?
Sounds good.
What's the first level all about in this mental training game?
Well, it all begins with the breath. The first jhana is where your breath and awareness start to merge.
Okay.
Think of it as 2 separate streams of water, gradually flowing together, becoming one single current.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah.
So what does that merging of breath and awareness actually feel like? Is it like a sudden shift or more of a gradual thing?
It can vary. It varies from person to person.
Sure.
But it's often described as a subtle but profound shift in attention. You become, less aware of the thoughts and distractions, all that stuff flitting through your mind.
Yeah.
And more absorbed in just the sensations of the breath.
So it's about like tuning out all the mental chatter
Yes.
and really honing in on that breath.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
And as you move into the second jhana, that focus becomes even more refined.
Okay.
And a sense of oneness kind of emerges.
Oneness.
But not oneness in the everyday sense of the word. Like, unity with something external.
Right.
It's more like the boundaries between, you, the observer, and the breath, the observed, start to dissolve.
Oh, interesting. So instead of feeling like you're separate and observing your breath,
Yes.
it's more like the breath and the awareness of the breath become the same thing.
Precisely.
Wow.
Imagine a camera lens.
Correct.
Initially, the focus is on, the object in front of the lens.
Yeah.
But as you progress, the focus kind of shifts to the lens itself. It's a very subtle shift.
Yeah.
But it changes your whole perception.
Gotcha. So I'm starting to get a sense of how these jhanas build upon each other.
Yeah.
What happens in the third jhana? Do we get even closer to the lens, so to speak?
In a way, yes. The third jhana, it's marked by this sense of deep tranquility and stability.
Okay.
The breath, which was, once a point of focus, now feels more like a background sensation.
Yeah.
Solid and still like an ice cube surrounded by delicate water vapor.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's in this stillness that a sense of rapture or joy often arises.
So the breath isn't the main focus anymore.
Yeah.
But it's still there, just more subtle.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's like you've shifted your attention from the individual notes in a symphony to the overall harmony of the orchestra.
Gotcha.
There's this sense of spaciousness and peace that kind of permeates your entire being.
Okay, so how does one transition from this tranquil state to the fourth jhana?
Well, the transition from the third to the fourth jhana is all about refining.
Okay.
Refining your focus even further.
Okay.
Remember that sense of rapture we talked about?
The joy.
Well, as pleasant as it might be,
it
can actually become a distraction in itself.
Oh, really? So even joy can be a distraction.
It can.
In this mental training game. That's wild.
It is.
To reach the fourth jhana,
yes,
you have to let go of even that.
You gently let go of even the subtlest sense of clinging to that rapture.
Okay.
It's like tuning your radio from a station with like loud, energetic music to one with softer, more calming melodies. You're still receiving the broadcast.
Okay.
But the frequency has changed.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm picturing a super chill radio station playing in the background of my mind.
Yes.
So what does the fourth jhana actually feel like? Is it like the ultimate chill zone, as I said before?
You could say that. The fourth jhana is characterized by profound stillness and equanimity.
Okay.
Even the breath, which was once a subtle background sensation, fades into complete silence. Your brain requires less oxygen, your body is at ease, and your mind achieves the state of pure, unshakable balance.
Pure equanimity, huh? That sounds incredibly powerful.
It is.
But is there any practical application for this level of stillness? Or is it purely an internal state of being?
It definitely has practical applications.
All right.
Think of this equanimity as a mental superpower. You can use it to navigate life's challenges with greater ease and clarity. It's not just about sitting on a cushion and meditating. It's about carrying that inner stillness and balance into your everyday life.
So it's like a portable meditation cushion.
Exactly.
That you can take with you wherever you go.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Imagine facing a difficult situation at work, for example.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of reacting, impulsively.
Right.
You can tap into that reservoir of stillness and respond with greater wisdom and compassion.
That's a pretty compelling argument for leveling up in this mental training game.
It is.
So we've made it to the fourth jhana.
Yeah.
The pinnacle of stillness.
Yes.
What happens when we venture beyond the realm of the breath?
Well, that's where the formless attainments come in.
Okay.
They build upon the foundation of the fourth jhana. But instead of focusing on the breath, we shift our attention to more abstract concepts like space and consciousness.
All right. Now we're really getting into uncharted territory here.
We are.
Infinite space, infinite consciousness. I'm ready to dive in.
Great. But first, we need to understand how to make the transition.
Okay.
From the fourth jhana to the first formless attainment, the dimension of the infinitude of space.
Okay.
It all starts with letting go.
Letting go of what exactly?
Letting go of the perception of your body's form.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on your physical sensations, you direct your attention to the space between sensations.
Okay.
Allowing it to expand, limitlessly in every direction.
So instead of feeling the boundaries of my body,
yes,
I'm focusing on the space that surrounds and permeates it.
Precisely. And as you practice this, you might start to notice something fascinating.
Okay.
The space within your body and the space outside of your body aren't actually separate. They're part of one continuous, interconnected field of space.
That's a mind-bending concept.
It is.
So I'm essentially merging my awareness with the infinite space that surrounds me.
Exactly. And you can practice this perception throughout your day. Okay.
Instead of focusing on your breath, notice the space permeating everything around you.
Gotcha.
Your body, the room you're in, the entire world. It's a powerful practice for cultivating a sense of spaciousness and freedom.
I can imagine how liberating that would feel.
It is.
Okay, so we've explored this vast expanse of infinite space.
Yes.
What about the second formless attainment? The dimension of the infinitude of consciousness.
This one builds upon the first.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on the infinite space itself, we shift our attention to the awareness of that space.
So instead of just experiencing the space, I'm becoming aware of the awareness itself.
Exactly.
That's getting pretty meta.
It is.
Right.
And as you explore this dimension, you realize that your awareness, just like space, is boundless and limitless. It's not confined to your body or your thoughts.
Right.
It's this vast, all-encompassing field of knowing.
Okay, my mind is officially blown.
Infinite space and infinite awareness.
Yeah.
What comes after that?
Yeah.
The dimension of infinite pizza.
Not quite.
Okay.
The third formless attainment is where things get even more intriguing.
Okay.
It's called the dimension of nothingness.
Nothingness. Okay.
Now, this might sound a bit intimidating.
It does a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not about, annihilating your consciousness.
Okay.
Or becoming a zombie or anything like that.
Because I kind of like my consciousness.
Yeah.
So what exactly is this nothingness all about?
It's about deconstructing the sense of, knowing. Or the observer within yourself. You're not eliminating awareness.
Gotcha.
But rather shifting your relationship to it.
Wait, hold on. We were dropping the knower. How does that even work?
It's about letting go of that constant labeling of experience.
Okay.
Dropping the perception of knowing leads to a sense of lightness and freedom from the effort of constantly needing to know.
Gotcha.
It's about experiencing pure awareness without the filter of the I or the me.
That's incredibly deep.
It is.
Okay. So what happens in the fourth formless attainment? Do we finally get to experience infinite pizza?
I'm afraid not.
Okay.
The fourth formless attainment, often referred to as the dimension of neither perception nor non-perception, takes us even further, beyond the boundaries of conventional thought.
Wow.
It's a state where there is pure awareness, but no labeling or conceptualization of it.
So there's no thought.
It's a state beyond perception and non-perception. A realm where words fail to capture the essence of the experience.
Now, my mind is really doing backflips.
Good.
From merging with our breath.
Yeah.
to experiencing the vastness of space and consciousness, and then dropping the very act of knowing.
Yeah.
This is an incredible journey.
It is.
And while this exploration might seem, abstract or esoteric,
sure,
it has profound implications for how we live our lives. These states of awareness aren't just for monks meditating in caves.
Yeah.
They're accessible to anyone willing to embark on the journey inward.
Absolutely.
So it's not about escaping reality, but about enhancing it. Okay. About bringing these profound states of awareness into our everyday lives.
Precisely. And that's what we'll explore further as we continue our deep dive.
All right, stay tuned, folks. We're about to venture even deeper into this fascinating world of jhanas and formless attainments. Welcome back. We just finished exploring the 4 jhanas.
Right.
And the first 4 formless attainments.
Yeah.
Which are basically like progressively deeper states of meditative absorption.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has been. It really has. We've gone from like merging with our breath to experiencing the vastness of space and consciousness, and even touched upon the idea of dropping the very act of knowing.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
It's mind-blowing stuff. All this talk about mental training games and leveling up, though, it makes me wonder, are there any pitfalls along this path?
Oh, that's an important question.
Like, what about wrong concentration? Our sources mentioned that.
Yeah. While these practices offer incredible benefits, there are some potential pitfalls to be aware of.
Right.
It's like, venturing into a new and exciting landscape.
Right.
There might be breathtaking vistas, but there could also be hidden crevasses or treacherous paths.
Gotcha. So what are some of the danger zones we need to watch out for on this inner journey?
Well, one common pitfall is what's called delusion concentration.
Delusion concentration.
It's like getting so absorbed in the comfort of the breath that your mindfulness becomes hazy. You might feel a sense of peace and relaxation, but your awareness of your surroundings and even your sense of self become kind of blurry.
So it's like getting too comfortable and losing that sharp, laser-like focus we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like the difference between, gazing softly at a candle flame and staring blankly into space.
Right.
In both cases, your eyes are open.
Yeah. But the quality of attention is vastly different.
Gotcha. So spaced out bliss is a red flag.
It can be.
Okay, what else should we be on the lookout for?
Another potential pitfall is the state of non-perception.
Okay.
Which is characterized by an extremely narrow focus.
Okay.
That rejects all mental objects. It's like shutting down all your senses and retreating into a state of complete mental emptiness.
It sounds a bit like sensory deprivation.
Yeah, kind of.
Why would someone intentionally seek out this state?
Well, while it can provide temporary relief from pain or intense emotions, it's important to recognize that it's not a sustainable path to liberation.
Okay.
It's more like pressing the pause button on your experience rather than truly engaging with it.
So it's like the difference between genuinely facing your challenges and just avoiding them altogether.
Precisely. True liberation comes from understanding and working with your mind, not from shutting it down. This is starting to sound a lot like those cautionary tales about getting lost in virtual reality.
Yeah, I can see that.
You might enjoy the escape for a while, but eventually you need to come back to reality.
You do.
So how can we make sure we're practicing right concentration and not veering off into these pitfalls?
The key is to cultivate a balanced approach.
Okay.
One that combines focused attention with open awareness. It's like walking a tightrope.
Okay.
You need to maintain your balance, but you also need to be flexible and adaptable to the changing conditions.
So it's not just about zoning out, but about being incredibly present with each moment.
You got it.
Okay.
Whether it's pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral.
Mindfulness is the key.
Mindfulness is key.
Yeah.
It's about observing your experience with a gentle, non-judgmental awareness.
Gotcha.
If you find yourself, getting lost in blissful sensations or shutting down your senses, you gently redirect your attention back to the breath.
Okay.
Or the present moment.
So in this mental training game,
Yeah.
mindfulness is like our trusty compass.
Yeah.
Guiding us back to the right path whenever we start to stray.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. And remember, the journey through the jhanas and formless attainments,
Right.
it's a gradual process.
It is.
Don't get discouraged if you encounter challenges or setbacks
Absolutely.
along the way.
It's all part of the journey.
The key is to approach this practice with patience.
Yes.
Curiosity, and a willingness to learn from your experiences.
Exactly.
I'm feeling inspired.
Yeah.
But before we get too carried away with our inner explorations, let's touch on something our sources only mention briefly.
Okay.
What about that fifth formless attainment?
Right.
The cessation of perception and feeling?
Yes.
Sounds pretty intense.
It is. The fifth formless attainment, often described as a temporary cessation of all mental activity.
Wow.
It's a very advanced state that requires years, if not lifetimes, of dedicated practice.
Wow, a complete mental shutdown.
Yeah.
Almost impossible to imagine.
It's hard to wrap our minds around.
It's like reaching the ultimate level of the game.
Yeah.
The one that only a few legendary players ever achieved.
Yeah, you could say that. But even though it's beyond the scope of our deep dive today, it's important to know it exists. It's a reminder that the potential of the human mind is truly limitless.
This whole topic is so fascinating.
It is.
It's not just about relaxation or stress relief. It's about exploring the vast landscape of consciousness.
Yes.
And unlocking our full potential.
It really is.
Exactly. And while we've covered a lot of ground today, it's important to remember that we've only scratched the surface.
Oh, we have. There's so much more to discover.
Right.
So much more to experience.
Well, you've certainly piqued my curiosity.
Good.
I'm ready to keep exploring these inner landscapes and see where this journey takes me. What about our listener? What's the one key takeaway
Oh, that's a great question.
you'd like them to remember from our deep dive today?
I want them to remember that these practices, while rooted in ancient traditions, are incredibly relevant to our modern lives.
Right.
Whether you're seeking, greater peace of mind, improved focus, or a deeper understanding of yourself.
Right.
The jhanas and formless attainments offer a path to explore.
So it's not about escaping reality, but about enhancing it.
Exactly.
About developing the mental skills and clarity to navigate life's challenges with greater ease. And wisdom.
Precisely. And remember, the journey begins with a single breath.
It's amazing to think that something as basic as breathing can be a gateway to these profound states of consciousness.
It really is remarkable. The breath, it's always with us.
Right.
A constant reminder of our connection to life itself.
Right.
And through these practices, we can use it as an anchor to explore, the vast inner landscape of our minds.
We often talk about expanding our horizons, exploring the world out there. But this deep dive has really highlighted the vastness within. It's like we've been carrying around this incredible universe of potential inside us all along. And we're just starting to discover its depths.
I completely agree. The journey inward can be just as expansive and awe-inspiring as any outward adventure.
Right.
And in some ways even more so because it's a journey into the very nature of our being.
Makes you wonder, right? If we can experience these profound states of consciousness through these practices, what else are we capable of? What other hidden potentials are waiting to be unlocked?
I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It opens up a whole world of possibilities.
Right.
A realm of human potential that we're only beginning to, understand.
Right.
And it invites us to kind of question our assumptions about what's possible, not only for ourselves, but for humanity as a whole.
I'm also struck by the idea that these practices aren't just about personal enlightenment or achieving some blissful state of detachment.
Yeah.
They're about cultivating qualities that can actually benefit everyone around us.
Absolutely. The qualities of stillness, clarity, and compassion that are cultivated through these practices, they naturally ripple outwards, influencing our interactions with others and the world as a whole. It's like a pebble dropped into a still pond, creating ripples that extend far beyond the point of impact.
It's like that saying, as within, so without.
Precisely. The inner transformation inevitably leads to outer transformation. By cultivating peace and harmony within ourselves, we contribute to a more peaceful and harmonious world.
This has been an incredible journey.
It has.
And I feel like we've only just begun to explore this vast landscape of jhanas and formless attainments. What advice would you give to our listener who's eager to dive deeper into this world?
I would encourage them to approach this journey with curiosity and an open mind.
Right.
There are so many resources available. Books, articles, guided meditations. The key is to find what resonates with you and to remember that this is a personal journey.
So it's not about finding the right way or the perfect technique.
No.
But about finding what works for you and allows you to experience these states of consciousness for yourself.
Exactly. And remember, the path unfolds as you walk it. Be patient with yourself.
Right.
Celebrate your successes and learn from your challenges.
Well said. Well, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive.
Sounds good.
But before we go, I want to thank our listener for joining us on this incredible journey into the depths of human consciousness.
It's been our pleasure. And we want to leave you with this final thought. The power to transform your experience, to cultivate greater peace and wisdom, lies within you. It's a matter of tapping into that potential.
Right.
And embarking on your own journey of exploration.
Beautifully said. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.